What's up, everybody? This is Nima, and got a pretty interesting stream tonight. Going to go over Nick Fuentes talking about Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro. Okay, so as some of you know, I've had my own issues with Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro, and I have not seen this yet, but it's interesting to me that Nick Fuentes and I have maybe something of a similar opinion on Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro. Considering our past, it's sort of odd that we're on the same maybe wavelength on this, at least. All right, guys, let's get into it. All right, 1 second.
Last week, I did an extended show talking about all these Jewish conferences. I know how that sounds, but it's what it is. It's so weird because you talk to normal people and you feel like a crazy person, but you look at these things and what else are you supposed to say? I did a whole show about it last week. I go on Tucker Carlson's show. It's really an uneventful interview. It's not even the best interview I've ever given. It's pretty boring, honestly. And it causes an international crisis. It's another Holocaust. The anti-Semites are at the gates, And it's in the New York Times 5 days a week. It's in the Washington Post. The president is talking about it. People are making a personal appeal to the vice president. The Speaker of the House is getting involved. And then on the sideline of all that, the organized Jewish community is freaking out and they hold their meetings. That's just how it works. They go to Las Vegas for the Republican Jewish Coalition Summit. The Republican Jewish Coalition's what it is. And Mark Levin gets up and says, I'm tired of hearing about Gaza. Well, we'll tell you when we're done with Gaza. We're sick of hearing. We the Jews. This is what goes on. Week after that, you get the World Jewish Congress. Go ahead and Google that. That's a real thing.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know, like, when you hear about stuff like this, organizations like this, I'm a Jewish guy myself. I'm mixed, Iranian and Jewish. It's not like I get invited to these things. I don't think it's like something you can't go to. I don't think it's hard. Maybe you can just pay to go to these things. But, when they see someone like me with an IQ of 91 who went to a community college, they sort of look down on guys like me too. They look at me like a sand nigger. It's and I think there's a lot of Ashkenazi Jews that are good people, and they do not look at me like that. I do think that. However, that I got such backlash after talking about racism, man. I got a whole better idea how he went crazy. I got a whole better idea how he literally just went crazy. I get it.
It's run by the Rothschilds and Ronald Lauder. Not making that up. That's real. And they get together and they talk about how Jews around the world are going to help Jewish people. And then they do the Conference of Major Jewish Organizations. They do the North American Jewish Federation. They do the Tikva Jewish Leadership Summit. Okay, so these are 5 different meetings that all happened in the past few weeks. And they all get together and they basically say the same thing, which is we need to shut it down. They say people are noticing that we have all the power, and they notice that we're using the power to help Israel, and Americans are sick of it. So they're saying we need to shut that conversation down. We need to cancel Tucker. We need to blacklist Nick. We need to censor the internet. We need anti-Semitism laws. We need gatekeeping. This is explicitly the message.
Guys, just to talk about gatekeeping, I've definitely been gatekept. I empathize way more after what I went through. Just so some of you don't know, I talked about, Ashkenazi versus Mizrahi, Middle Eastern against, European Jews. And it was trending on X. And it was also trending when I talked about Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro on X. For me, that never has happened that I can think of. Okay. That was like for me after years of on X, that was pretty big for me. I only got 70,000 followers or so, pretty small account on X. My main account is Instagram. So, for that to go down was pretty significant. Shout out to Jake Lang. I just saw you text me, bro. I hope you joined the stream. But yeah, it was crazy. Like the way you get kicked out, and the way my own community has lashed out at me. Or we got Jake. Jake, what's up, brother?
Hey, Emo, what's up, man? God bless you.
Hey, man. God bless you, brother. God
Oh,
bless you.
I just got off a heated debate with the you debated him too, or just I had a discussion with him. Um, what's his name? Suleiman?
Oh man, I just looked at a part of it, man. That looked crazy, bro.
Oh yeah, no, we were getting into it. I don't pull no punches, especially with people trying to push like Allah is fine and don't look over here. It's Jew this, Jew that. Like, hey, listen, the Zionist, Central Reserve Banking, Illuminati, Luciferian control, people over everything. Obviously, they have everything to do with everything, but we're talking about Dearborn, Islamification, and then every single segue is just like he veers off the highway and shoots off the conversation and like finds a way to like work Jews into everything, which is that's his prerogative, but that's his identity. His identity is like built around finding the Jew in every needle in every haystack. So God bless him, but it becomes tiresome.
Bro, so I've actually met Solomon. He's a nice guy, believe it or not. And he went off on me about, I went, I'm a married guy, man. I got a daughter. He's like, oh, you were with a girl that was 14, and that's why a German girl, and that's why you went to Germany for a 14-year-old. Bro, I went to Germany for a woman who I married. Like I literally married the woman she was a woman. She was about 11 years younger. I married her. I started a family with her. I got married in Germany. I didn't go there for no 14-year-old girl, but he just said it, man.
I mean, that's very rich coming from the same guy. And I'm not here to, I don't even want to make my comment. He makes money getting paid to talk about me, not the other way around. So I'm not even going to continue this discussion about him other than he's the one that does protect the child grooming gangs in London and try to say cultural differences and stuff. So, that's very rich coming from him. So anyway, how you doing tonight, brother? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hey, man. It's an honor, man. I think, bro, like what you've gone through is like such a remarkable story. Shout out to Donald Trump, our president, for pardoning you, man. I mean, fuck, man, you went through so much to get locked up. I think you're one of the most interesting people right now in the United States, and what you're doing is just like, it's so disruptive. And I just would like, yo, bro, how was that for you, man? Like you were in prison. I mean, fucking, hey, I heard you had rats biting you.
The rats were like the least of the worries there. The rats with 2 legs are even worse than the rats with 4, if you know what I mean. The guy's trying to, turn you in and get their sentence lighter so that they could go home by either making up something on you or anything. So you got to watch out always. But it was a transformative experience, and it's part of the reason why I'm fighting with the fervor that I have in me now. I mean, that speech that the world heard in Dearborn, Michigan is a direct, basically a downstream effect of what happens when you try to take a man's life from him, when you try to take his country, his way of life, everything he knows and loves, stick him in a cage for 4 years. I sit there and I do push-ups every day. I read the Bible every day. I get strong in my faith and strong in my personal development. And the end of that is now they've created like a Frankenstein patriot that's just like, willing to go to any ends and do anything to save our country, because the country I went in when it just started COVID lockdowns and that whole transformation of America happened is not the country I came out to. There was an invasion while I was in prison of maybe 20, 30 million foreigners, invaders, plenty of Middle Easterns, plenty of South Americans. And they're not the same as us. They don't live like us. They don't speak like us. They don't dress like us. They don't do anything. They don't act like us. For sure, they're many, many violent people, just like the National Guard murderer, Afghani. So I came out to a different America, and I was not satisfied with that. And I made it my mission to help make America great again, to bring us back to that unified, domestically tranquil, pure, loving, godly demographic that we had, where white people are not, second-class citizens, but we're the majority. We're, the people in power. We're the ones directing the future of our own country, our self-determined country, filled with people that look like you, act like you, that have the same background, heritage, value system, belief. Of course, I'm not calling for everybody to leave the country, but I want America to be 80% white. Shoot me dead for saying something so egregious as wanting my country to remain my country and not turn into a totally different land of invaders. So, that's the kind of battles I'm fighting, and I think it's resonating with tens of millions of Americans.
Yeah, it's my for me, man, it took me a while, man. Initially, it took me a while to get to this point of America first. It took me a while, man. I think as a person who came from immigrants, I was looking at like Iran, I was looking at Israel, and I was so concerned about overseas. My mom is not like this. My mom is very America first, despite the fact she's a leftist. And I finally got to a point, man, where I was like, it started to click to me, man. It started to click to me. And when it started to click to me, I was like, how could I even think about other countries when our country is basically falling apart? Our country's falling apart, man. It's like we are literally getting invaded. Chinese Communist Party, who I think is the number one biggest threat. We got Qatar financing our schools. I mean, you seem like you studied terrorism quite a bit. What do you think about Qatar in general? Like in our
100%. I think the three main threats right now, as far as insidious threats that are looking to subvert the American way of life, install politicians, pay off NGOs and stuff, is Qatar, CCP, and unfortunately Israel. It falls in there, even if they're not even being the worst of the worst, which maybe you have a lot of Jewish NGOs, but you have just as many Catholic ones that are really pushing the immigration policies that we're seeing right now. But to answer your question, Qatar is also looking to foment hatred on Israel by paying people online to spread lies and whatnot on Israel, and just to basically Islamify Europe and America. They're trying to tell you it's not that bad. These people are the natural, alliance of Christians against Jews, and it's like everybody's trying to divide and conquer right now. And my natural reaction, this is the most natural reaction. All the young men, all the Nick Fuentes watchers, or all the people that are, watching me right now and following what I'm doing. I'm just a little more active. I have a little bit different of a background because I've been there in the Capitol, in the prison cells and whatnot. So I have a little different thing to bring to the table. I'm not a podcaster. I'm a freedom fighter, but all the people are looking at mine and Nick's message and others like us, and even some of the guys that are, super anti-Israel, like Jake Shields, Stu Peters, all those people. And the one unifying understanding is that there are so many moving parts between Israel, Qatar, and communist China that we're just rejecting all of the noise, and our shutdown, like natural instinct, is America first, America only. I don't know who's my enemy. I don't know who's my friend. Everybody, there's like so many cross firings happening with the different allegiances and why somebody's saying this. So we're all shutting down. That's the main point that everybody in America needs to hear right now. There's too many questions of foreign allegiances between Israel, China, and Qatar that the average American is just saying, screw Israel, screw Palestine, screw the Middle East, screw everything that's happening over there. All I know right now is white replacement rate is way below zero. Our white men cannot buy homes working 3 jobs, let alone afford a family and 3 kids. And so we're looking at these existential problems in front of our face: affordability of home ownership, white birth rates, faith being proliferated, and the church numbers dropping. We're looking at these real problems that are on our front door compared to the contrived alliances that they're trying to spin up in our head with Qatar and Israel and all this stuff. And we're just saying, you know what? It's just America first now. And that's the natural reaction of anybody who loves their country. When you see what's happening, black people just murdering and stabbing white girls and lighting them on fire, and all this ghettoification of America, and all of the Indians and Pakistanis taking all of the high-level tech jobs. We're seeing this, and we're like, Who gives a shit about an opinion on Israel right now? Our people are ceasing to exist in our own country. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm basically just like rejecting all foreign arguments or questions of allegiance and saying, what can we do, just as President Trump has addressed? What can we do for our country today? How can we kick out 53 million green card holders and stuff? He's hearing the cries of those who watched my video in Dearborn and saw what we stood for. President Trump is listening directly to that, and he's responding by that social media message he put out earlier today or later last night. It's exactly on point with exactly what we need right now.
You know, it's interesting, man. I didn't notice, but from what I understand, there's two things I think you and I have in common. One is that we're both mixed. I'm also mixed with, Jewish. My father is Iranian. I'm mixed with Jewish, and I think you're mixed with Russian and Jewish. Is that or?
Yeah. My father's Irish Catholic, German and Irish. 50% of me is that European, and then the other 50% is Russian Jewish. So I was raised in a Catholic family, but I have Jewish Russian bloodline, which I would argue ethnically is European. Not obviously, I'm not from the Middle East. I don't have Sephardic Jewish bloodline. I have Ashkenazi, but those are semantics. But yes, I am. I have a Jewish mom. I love her very much. She's MAGA. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I got a Jewish mom too, but it's interesting, man. So so there's another thing I think you and I have in common. I think you got there a lot earlier than me, and I'd like to just see how you got there earlier than me, because for me, man, I'll be honest with you, man. I was Israel first. I was an American, and I don't know what it was. I was instinctively Israel first for so long. And it wasn't until I spoke up, I said, I think there's a little bit of, I think Ben Shapiro and Barry Weiss are going to fail. I think they're building anti-Semitism. I think they're so out of touch with what people in the United States want. And they keep putting more like Ben Shapiro's. They keep putting more of this forcing America, forcing Gen Z to take this stuff. They've weaponized anti-Semitism. I talked about racism, actually. I said, hey, you know what? There is no dark Middle Eastern guy like me in a Middle Eastern country of Israel that's ever been PM. Yeah, they've had some success, but we've never had one. And then the whole community basically expelled me, called me a fake Jew, completely trashed me, man. And yeah, so here's what I want to say to you, man, is like, now I have a whole new empathy, Jake, for what we do, like what the Jewish community does to other people who are not Jewish at all. And I think what makes you so unique to me now is that we both have a Jewish mom, but we're both saying, hey, you know what? We're not going to do what the others are doing. We're going to actually put America first because we're actually in the United States. And I just think that if more Jewish people do what you and I are doing, I actually think the Jewish community in the United States will get more embraced, more accepted, and I think they would get way more welcomed in the America First movement. But when you try to trick Americans, and you give them the same talking point of AIPAC's not a foreign agent, or we should give Israel our aid because they give 15x back the money. When we keep doing that, we're not fooling anyone. It's like we're gaslighting. And then when the Jewish community tries to outsmart everyone, I got a 150 IQ. I went to Harvard. I'm smart. You're stupid. You should listen to me. I know what's best. By the way, Israel's our number one ally. And now I can look at our own community and be like, oh my gosh, Ben Shapiro, Barry Weiss, they're like on the Titanic. They're taking the Jewish people into the iceberg. And I think in the 2030s, we're one or two presidents away from an openly hostile president to the Jewish people. I think that we need new Jewish leaders, new Jewish people in America that are saying, hey, you know what, guys? If we're in America, we are literally America first. And if you're not America first, go to fuck back, go to fuck to Spain, go to fuck to South Korea, go to Israel, go to Qatar. But you cannot be here, bro. Like, you cannot stay in this country if you are not America first. We got China expanding. They're 4x our size. The Middle East, I'm sorry, it's hard to convince me Iran is our number one threat when China is 4x our size. They have the largest naval fleet. We have way bigger enemies, bro. I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
You're tracking correctly, and it's hard because having a Jewish heritage, my Jewish identity in me. I'm not like, I never really went to temple growing up and stuff like that, but I do have a family member who went and moved to Israel and all of that. And so, I was introduced to a little bit of like the way of life over there. And the one thing I'll never back down from the pedestal of is Israel is full of white people that live like white people. And they deserve, just as Europe, any European country, to be defended against brown hordes of, Muslims or anybody that would be attacking them. America should always stand with any European country that is being attacked by any of the hordes, including this false invasion of immigration. And that's why when I stood up and I posted like the video of me kissing the wall in Israel, which was like on a tourist trip 10 years ago, I was saying we cannot lose Israel to the Muslims, like no matter what, because maybe the Jewish government over there, the Israeli government, maybe has and does have, and the Jewish NGOs, a lot of foreign influence and campaigns that they run to keep their, their voice constantly and their values and whatnot constantly at the forefront of the American political game so that they don't lose our support, they have our back and they have our money and stuff. But, all those things aside, still a country full of white people that live like a normal civilized society, and they shouldn't be disappeared to the hordes of freaking Muslims that want to destroy them. But that doesn't mean we lose our country and our identity and we watch the right wing split in half because people are so chalked up over this issue. If it wasn't such a big issue, I would say, all right, whatever, go and let's defend them so that, it's like any European country, so that those white people that are nice people can live a nice life over there. But because it's become such a political wedge and splitting point, we have to drop all allegiances with any Israel and any foreign nation, because our movement, the Republican movement, the MAGA movement, is splitting in half over this issue. And the social decay of America is currently absolutely paramount. And a lot of the Jewish owners of OnlyFans and Pornhub and Black, that interracial porn company that's absolutely repulsive, a lot of these have correlation. So we need to, as Jews who have at least half Jews on the ethnic side of things. I never practiced Judaism. I've always been a Christian. But as people who at least have some tie to the Jewish community, we need to call out and say, here's the bad Jews. The ones that are AIPAC that's trying to buy foreign influence over America. That's bad Jews. We condemn them. The ones who own the porn companies, the ones who own Hollywood, those ones, they're not America first. We're America first. Screw them. Jews will stay part of America because they're white people. They live all across the country. They assimilate very well into America. Lovely, most of the time. And so those people deserve to be called Americans. A lot of them are America first. But on the other side of things, we need to condemn all the bad apples, including the bad Israeli government that is looking to hold foreign influence over American politicians through campaigns like Epstein and other campaigns, as well as directly through buying them through AIPAC. As half Jewish men, at least I can speak for myself, I reject those things. I reject the industries that Jewish, overlords, false Jews are prevalent in, and I continue to support the average hardworking white Jewish man in Brooklyn or all across the country just wants to raise his family, be an American, America first, votes Republican, votes family values, votes constitutionalism, votes small government. Those people are obviously good people. They're just like every American. Fifth generation Mexican guy that votes the same way. I'll call him my brother. But at the end of the day, we need to segment, as Ben Shapiro refuses to do, and other Jewish leaders refuse to do, and say, we condemn the bad apples. We don't like what's happening in Gaza. I mean, it's a war, war's war, and I believe in countries' right to go to war and defend themselves, but I don't like to see, I don't like to see what's happening in Gaza. Nobody should. It's crazy. It's craziness over there. But we can say these things and not like turn into the woke right, like just like Jew, hate, Jew. They're all bad. They're all snakes. They're all horrible people, because you have great American Jewish leaders that are fighting for white Americans right here, that are willing to put their life on the line for this country. And, there are America first, like I am, and America only. And we're starting to really be openly criticizing those like Lindsey Graham, Randy Fine, Ben Shapiro, all these ones who just suck it all up and just basically are Israeli talking heads.
Yeah.
We're not, and we don't want to be. We're American.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel.
I mean, I mean, bro, it's such a relief. I actually think talking to you, just listening to you, man, and the fact that you're also mixed with Jewish, I feel like even more liberated. I feel like someone is talking some fucking sense, bro. Like I feel like there's in the Jewish community, we have like a cult. We have like a cult, man. Like we're incapable of looking at ourselves publicly. We're so afraid to talk publicly and say, hey, you know what? Maybe Ben Shapiro, Barry Weiss are actually causing anti-Semitism with their arrogance. Maybe cancel culture is the word. Anti-Semitism has been so weaponized that we're actually like, it's been so abused that it's literally causing this elitist arrogance is causing them is more people to hate us in the United States. We're so focused on Israel that put it like this. If we're so focused on Israel that we're going to get so hated in the United States, then what's going to happen? Jews are going to have to flee to the United States. Like, number one priority for me, number one goal for me is no, you and I, or just you're Catholic, but I'm saying like the Jewish people in the United States, we're safe. And I think that the best way to do that is to go America first. So you're American neighbor,
100%.
right? Like your American neighbor.
You can't have dual. You can't, being an American, you can't have dual allegiances. You have to say, my country first, my people first. You know, you can pray and hopefully have support. I mean, every country has allies, right? That's part of being a country. You ally with different people that make sense for who you to ally with, and you stand up and fight for those people. But to constantly be fighting Israel's like surrogate wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and the Gulf War, all these things that have just stirred up more problems for us, where these freaking immigrants are displaced refugees, Somalians flooding, everyone's flooding now Europe and America because we want to keep on going to bat for Israel over and over and over again. Well, guess what? Now we have hordes of brown people that don't live like us. They don't have the same God, speak the same language, have the same cultural norms, anything. And they're coming over here and they're raping our white women in immense numbers. In Sweden, the rape gangs, the Muslim rape gangs are insane. So we have to look at not only the philosophical ideas behind what we're saying, but the actual what has resulted in backing Israel blindly for the last 40 years. It's resulted in destabilization of the Middle East and massive swarms of refugees being displaced into white countries and destroying the fiber, the natural fiber, the demographic makeup of those countries. So we have to say, is it worth it to virtue signal ourselves as such good allies to Israel that we actually end up ruining our own countries in the process? And you know, we need to treat every country just like we treat China. You know, we are in competition for the main plate at the dinner table, and we want to win. We want to win, and we want to maintain our national identity. So, you know, I've gone so, I'm like Crusader pilled. I'm not even MAGA anymore. I mean, I'm super MAGA. I love President Trump, but I've gone so far to the right and just like, I want my country back. I don't give a shit how. I want my countries back. And any enemy, any Chinese, Qatarian, Israeli person, or a government agent, or NGO, non-government organization that's being paid or in any way associated to any of these places that don't have American interests first and foremost, I don't want anything to do with them. Our government officials shouldn't be taking money from them, and we need to hone it back in to fix these problems here that we have in our country, or else we're fighting over crumbs. Then we back Israel, bone back Israel. What do you mean? To look at the graduating class in Minneapolis right now. There's not a white kid in it. All the girls are wearing hijabs, and you're asking Israel this, Israel that, Qatar this, Qatar that. You kick them all out and get our country under control, and then we can start to talk about who we're aligning with again. I mean, we're gonna have to take a long, hard look in the mirror to see who we ever align with ever again, because Israel's brought nothing but pain on us right now.
I'll tell you, man, like if anybody Jewish is listening to this, you literally have two guys here that are mixed with Jewish. And I just want you all to know it's okay, to go America first. It's okay here in the United, like Jake has broke that shackle. I have broke that shackle of indoctrination. It is okay to give allegiance, or like I'm telling you, I'm looking in your eyes and I'm telling you, it is okay. You are fine if you give allegiance to the United States. If
And
we
we
do
need to do a better job at preparing a space for these people, because honestly, on the right wing right now, if you look at the comments underneath my, ever since I did the Dearborn thing and then the picture of me came out of me on the wall, the hatred from the right wing, like, the Hitler fanatic people, and like, I might even be in a couple of those group chats. Who knows? Like I'm cool. I'm America first. I love all the same things everybody loves, but there's this like fanatical, like, it seems right now, and I know this to be a fact, that Jewish people in America really don't have a home politically, because the left freaking wants them eradicated, right? They're like super pro Palestine, but the right has gone into this place of like mixing the Israeli government and like the Zionist Jewish Rothschild banking overlords with like your average everyday, American Jewish man like me or my brother here. And so the left hates us, and the far right is super hateful of Jewish people now. No matter what, if it's Israeli government or not, no matter if you can come out like me and go full crusader, white Christian crusader, carry a cross through Dearborn, burn the Talmud on video like I did, and they still are going to say Jew, 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 and show hatred. So if that's the current reality you're living in, like it's mine, power through it. Know God is on your side. And as long as you're doing the right thing in his eyes, you're supporting the country you love, America, and you're doing the right thing, people will eventually see us, our character. Jewish men, half Jewish men, people have Jewish heritage, white men that have Jewish bloodline. And my brother right here is not even a white man, but even so,
Yeah, but
they
hold
will
on.
see us.
I actually have to put down white, believe it or not. I have to actually put down in the Middle East or Europe. You have to put down white.
Really?
Yeah. But let me say one
But
thing.
no, but I'm saying don't be discouraged, because more people like us are leading the way right now, and we are creating a political home for Jews who don't need to be fanatically Israel or fanatically leftist, because that's pretty much all they are. There is an America First home for Jews. We're here, and you can come over here if you're full blown Jew, half Jew, even if anything. Come over to being America First, because that's the right way to be. Our country depends on the future of our allegiance being to our country and our country alone.
Just one thing I'd like to say here, and then I want to talk about this. You at this protest, because it's incredible, fascinating what you're doing, man. Just in general, it's just fascinating. And I just one thing I just would be remiss to say to the Jewish people in the United States. It's great that you think about the Jewish people in Israel. It's fine. But we have such a big problem here in the United States right now that we have to first look after our own safety here in the United States. Because if the anti-Semitism gets bad here in the United States, we have to leave this country. Then everything's disrupted, and we can't even help the people in Israel at all at that point. So I'm just saying, like, the number one thing is right now, openly speaking up, saying that you support the United States first, America first. If you want to privately go and support Israel with your own money, you want to go vacation there, to me, that's fine. You want to go invest in businesses there, fantastic. You want to go do charity there, fantastic. But with our government, with where our taxpayer money goes, with what our military goes, complete America first. I just do not like. We have terrorists right here in the United States, and we're about to get into it with a protest that Jake went to. Iran is not our number one threat, bro. Like, Iran is not going to come here. Iran is not going to come here. China might come here. To me, that's how I think, Jake. I think Iran is not our number one threat. China is, and look at this terrorism that we're about to go into right now of this is actually you. This is incredible. You're actually fighting the terrorist here, which to me is way more important. The terrorists that we have right here in America, inside of America, let alone what the fuck these people are doing in Iran. I could care less at this point. This is the most pressing.
Yeah, it's like we used to have no problems in America, so we could like go and opine about Iran and stuff. But no, we have little Somalia right here in Minneapolis. We have problems right here. We have white women having no babies, being fetishized to on Netflix. Every single freaking movie is a white girl and a black guy, white girl and a black guy. We have propaganda information warfare is destroying the minds of our youth, and actual invaders from South America, from the Middle East, and from Africa that are in our country trying to take over our country. We have multi-front war happening here. Who gives a shit about Israel right now, or Palestine, or Iran? We have war here, and we need to win our culture back and take our country back, or else we won't even have the power to even have an opinion on any of these other topics.
Man, man, bro. You're nailing. I see why you're exploding, bro. You are truly nailing it, man. It's like I'm 45. I'm probably a lot older than you. You know, and for me, man, in the 1990s, you're right. We did have like the luxury. We did have like we could afford to talk about, oh, what's going on in the Middle East. You know, what's going on over there. But you're right. Now it's like our economy is getting smashed. Somewhat with AI replacing jobs. Inflation is crazy. And now we're getting invaded with the migrants, how much the Democrats have let in through these open borders. And it's just such a mess, man. The corruption is
we got to congeal together as the American people right now and use the power we have in unity to beat each individual front in this warfare immediately, because we do have the voting demographic right now. We won the popular vote in 2024. We won't have that much longer. All of our older white Christian American voters are dying every day, and they're being replaced by Colombia, Palestine flag waving idiot liberals that will do anything to see Christian white America family values be destroyed in replacement for free sex, OnlyFans, transgender, freaking furry. So we don't have long. We have maybe 5 good years where we still have the numbers to win back the culture before all of our older white voters are dead and all these new radicalized, idiots coming out of the universities and high school indoctrination camps are taking over. So I'm on the streets. I will be on the streets December 13th in Plano, Texas, at the Epic City Mosque, pushing back, showing unity, showing strength, peacefully and with the power of God and the conviction of the Holy Spirit, showing up and showing these people the American dominance and strength that we have here. So, now's the time. If you're looking to get involved and you want to bring action to the energy you're feeling in what we're saying, if you want your great grandchildren to be white or to be the same people that you are, not to be black or Muslim, because everybody's gonna be black and Muslim. Pretty much it.
So Jake,
I'm speaking to my white boys here because that's who I'm talking to. I got to talk to my people because that's our number one concern. What are our grandchildren going to do? Are they going to be Christians? Are they going to be white? Are they going to be like some primordial soup of, people that have no faith, no heritage? That's the point. They're trying to dehumanize and take from us those key identifying human factors, our religious values, our heritage, our bloodline, all these things. If they can start to etch out each one of them individually, now you're just an easily controllable mass that doesn't know where you came from or where you're going, what you believe in or what you don't believe in. And you're just ready to be spoon-fed the goy slop every single day. So that's why we're so passionate about this fight, because it's one of paramount importance.
Oh, all right. So Jake, this is pretty significant, man. This is a pretty big deal, man. So here you are, you're doing a march, Americans, you're just doing you're doing your
Americans against Islamification.
Okay, all right, and then you're a prominent J6er, and I'll play the clip of you getting actually punched. Here you are, looking innocent, nice American patriot. And boom. And that was an Arab that punched you?
Yeah, I was a little twig Arab, yep.
And then
whatever.
And then that was right in front of the police, and the police did nothing.
Yeah, look at that police car. He's right there.
Wow.
Hey, kid ran. Look at my supporter. One of my supporters is chasing the poor kid. These people, just goes to show.
You're not scared. You're not scared to go to another protest. Like you even are now planning bigger protests. Is that
bigger protests with bigger demonstrations, more numbers, and we got to double down. Listen, I say this often in my old interviews while I was in prison, because people used to ask me, like, you're not afraid of, getting sentenced to life in prison and stuff. And I said, fear does not live in the heart of a patriot. If you're making your actions as a patriot dependent upon, what's personally best for you, or how to save your own life, or this is that's you're being motivated by lesser forces than love. Love, perfect love casts out fear, the Bible says. And so if you love your country, if you love the people around you who you know to be Americans, and your family and your children and your mothers and brothers and sisters, then you will do whatever it takes to make sure that your children have the same opportunity to share in the same way, American way of life, the same social experiment called America, the greatest experiment ever, the greatest country ever. And so I can't be afraid, because to be afraid would to be make my children afraid and their children afraid, and it would just be passing down a lineage of fear. And we have to rise up now without fear, knowing that our lives are worth what God says they're worth, and to make everything in our lives centered around self-comfort and self-protection and self-preservation is such a weak and lowly way to live. It's not how men used to live. Men used to just at any given moment be ready to mount up with their brothers and fight against whatever it was. If it was, some type of, vigilante, whatever it was, men just said this. If somebody disrespected you at a party, you would take your glove off and throw it on the floor, and you and the guy would kill each other over honor, and so to die for an honorable thing, to die over your own honor, to make sure that you can look at yourself in the mirror and consider yourself a man, is something to me that is old school. It's something that I'm willing to do and willing to be. And I want more men to just say, for honor's sake, for making sure that I maintain my integrity as a man, I'm going to go stand up in Dearborn. I'm going to go stand up with Jake in Texas on December 13th, because that's what my father would have done, or that's what the founding fathers would have done. So we got to be motivated by things, by God first and foremost, by Jesus Christ, in these higher natures. If we resort to our lower nature, it'll always make us self-preservation. How can I, let me Netflix this and then order, something off of Uber Eats and have it delivered to me, and just everything me, and have everything like a concentric circle surrounded by yourself. But that's not, to love is to give. Jesus Christ laid down his life for the same people he created. He gave his life for us, and it's a self-sacrificing love that we need to bring back in America. And that's what I'm trying to show in these marches, is we must lay down our lives, even if it's dangerous for our country, because at the end of the day, we're not that important, I mean, we're men. We live, we die, and as long as you do something that means something in between those two moments, that makes you important. Your life itself, I hate to tell everybody out there, it's, people die to fight for what they believe in. Not everything's about just living as long as possible, eating as much good.
Jake. All right, I think we might have just lost Jake. Jake? All right, guys. Maybe they canceled your boy. Maybe. Jake, you still here? Jake. Oh, here we go.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, my wife called me, but not everything's about just, eating as much good food as possible and then dying at a healthy old age. Sometimes to be a man is to give your life for the ones you love, and that's what it is to be a man.
It's interesting. It's I think that for someone like me, as a guy who's mixed, I have Muslims in my family, and you have Catholics in your family, but we're both mixed with Jewish. It's interesting because I think that the Jews in Europe are more comfortable with Christianity, whereas the Jews like me maybe are also comfortable with the Muslims. But I want to say something to you, and that's that my wife is a German Christian, and I go back to Germany next month. We got her, Christmas market. She's an evangelical Christian.
Or the Christmas markets over there are surrounded by police and barbed wire because the Muslims are going to drive through it with a fan.
Yeah. So hold on. So Jake, this is what I want to say to you. This is what I want to ask you, bro. I'm just curious. So what do you say to the guy? His name's Ali. He's in Fairfax, Virginia. He is a Muslim. But he's America first, and he says that he doesn't agree with these Hamas terrorists, or he doesn't agree with these terrorists coming into the United States. Would he be welcomed in your America?
That's a difficult question. It goes back to is he an anchor baby here? Are his
He's
parents
born here. Let's say
immigrants?
he was born in Falls Church, Virginia, a suburb of Washington,
But
D.C.
were his parents born here?
His parents weren't, but if you meet him, he's just American. Like he doesn't even
So
think about this.
I've been
Yeah.
discussing this a lot, especially with President Trump's recent stances and whatnot. And I think the first generation born Americans from immigrants, especially those who are not of European descent, need to be taken a very hard look at. And if they espouse ideals that are un-American, they need to be kicked out immediately. But somebody like Ali, if he's a first-born generation American and he's not of European descent, but he has strong America First values, family values, small government, conservative values, he can stay. But the unfortunate thing is, most firstborn generations of immigrants here in this country are all rabid leftists that are all super entitled, and they're fighting with Mexican flags and Palestinian flags and burning down cities and doing the riots we saw there in California and stuff. So I'd say like 80 to 90% of firstborn anchor babies.
Not this guy right here. This guy Mustafa.
Ali sounds all right. We
How
would,
about this guy
if
right
I
here?
was in charge,
Yeah.
I would do a full forensic audit on his social media, every message he's ever sent. Run it through AI, and if the guy it has any type of anti-American, all this crazy pro-Marxist, LGBTQ, transgender stuff, I'd say him and his family got to go. But if he's born here on American soil and he believes in the idea of America and the American dream and the values that we represent, even if he's Muslim, and he believes in what we believe in, he can say, but his parents got to go. Sorry, send him back.
Well, no, but I'll tell you, Jake, it's nice to know that you would keep it you would keep it inclusive for those that are willing to assimilate. So
because it's
good to know you're not a
no,
bigot.
I'm not a bigot, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't trade out.
I respect that.
No, I appreciate that. I wouldn't trade out though, but the goal is to get America back to 70-80% white country, and because that's what we deserve to have. We deserve to have our own homelands. We only have Europe. We're only 7% of the world.
Jake,
we deserve to have countries that we're super majorities in. We do.
Jake, would you say that in this America, would a dark Jewish guy like me still have equal rights?
Of course, everybody has equal. I mean, those are unheard of. The way we get back to, everybody has equal rights. Even now, if we're talking about women, I don't know if they shouldn't be allowed to vote themselves into slavery. We love women enough to tell you to stop voting yourselves into slavery. If you keep voting yourself, we want you to vote. But if you keep voting yourselves into slavery, we will have to take the 19th Amendment away from you. We will. Because we love you so much. You cannot vote yourself into socialistic slavery. We love you too much to let you just keep on putting your finger in a light socket. So we might have to take that.
And also, would Ali, the American Muslim who is, let's say, a Trump supporter, he's a business guy, he loves America, would he also get equal rights if he were the president of the United States?
He gets equal rights now. Does a Muslim should a Muslim be able to hold office in America? I say no. I say no to that, because they have an allegiance. They have an allegiance to something higher than the Constitution, and this is across the board. Sharia law and the Constitution do not mix at all, and I don't think Muslims should be able to hold office in America, because they've proven themselves to be a political insidious force and not just a religion. They're more than a religion. They have their political outposts. They vote 80% Democrat, just like Jews do. They vote between 70 and 80% Democrat. And so, that's the problem, is that 80% of the Muslims here are anti-American. So it's really hard to love Ali from Fairfax, Virginia, when the only people that I really do consider somebody, I love everybody. I love white men, American men, no homo, right? That sounded weird, but I love white American men because they vote like I vote. They want small government, pro family values, pro Second Amendment, pro First Amendment, and that's the only class, and white women do too, but white men in higher numbers.
Hold on
That's the
here.
only class of Americans that vote, that believe in the same values that I do in a representative form of who they are as a people. Of course, what is it? 20% of Muslims share some of the same values of me. Okay, but
Could they
that's
though?
why they can't be here, because when you all get together, you fucking vote in socialism. It's crazy. Everybody does it. Hispanic, Black, Jewish, Muslim, Indian, Asian, all of them vote that way. The only reason we have any freedom here is because the white men are voting Republican.
Jake, so let me ask you this. Let's say Ali, he's a Muslim, born and raised in Fairfax County, Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C. And he was in the Marines 4 years, served the country, all right? Even married a European American woman.
Oh, he's got to go then.
Well,
100%.
hold on.
Get him out.
Let me
Get
finish.
him out.
Oh,
Race
Jake,
mixers.
Jake,
Oh.
hold on, man. Hold on.
And her too. She's got to go back to freaking Somalia with him.
No, Jake, hold on. So let's say you give him equal rights, like you have as a white man. Would he at that point? He's a Muslim. Could he run for office in Virginia? And if you're the president
he's got two strikes almost. He's almost out. He's got an allegiance. He's got an allegiance to Muhammad, the pedophile, rapist, warlord, and he's here to conquer and race mix all of our white women and destroy the white race.
The guy was in the Marines, bro. He was in the Marines.
Listen, the fidelity. I love that. I love that he was in the Marines. That's a very patriotic thing. What I love more,
give him a shot. I vote we give Ali, the Muslim who was in the Marines for 4 years, and you did an AI forensic audit. He never said anything bad against America. You even
it sets a bad precedent that white women should go and procreate with people outside of their race and therefore destroy the white race. I mean, it is what it is. And I understand they fetishize our women. That's why they're coming and they're raping all the women in Sweden. But
they're probably German. They're probably German women. They're probably in Germany. They see a dark Jewish guy like me. I'm probably I'm one of the only dark Jewish guys in my neighborhood, man. They probably look at me the same way with my wife. So I like it here.
It's America. Not natural. It's just not natural. Muhammad Ali said it. It's not natural. Me and Muhammad Ali are on the same page here. It's just not natural, and it doesn't equal actual diversity. Actual diversity is each individual culture maintaining their culture, so that you can enjoy it. When everybody ends up the same, then there's no culture. When London looks like Mumbai, then you lose English culture. You lose all the beautiful things about regal royalty, beautiful art, culture. And so I don't agree with that. I don't agree with Ali marrying into white, and mixing with white American women. I just don't. On an individual basis, if I knew Ali and he sounds like a great guy, come over to my house, have Thanksgiving dinner and stuff. On an individual basis, it's fine. It's not like I hate the guy. It's just about standards. We're setting the wrong standards when we put on every commercial a black guy and a white girl, or a white girl and a Mexican guy, or whatever. It's about macro level stuff. On an individual level, I probably chill with Ali all the time. He sounds like a great dude. And his wife and everybody, I'd meet their kids, I'd hug them just like anybody else. But that's not the standard I'm looking to set. Because if you make him the standard, then you lose the white race and you lose America and you lose Western civilization and culture. So that's the problem. Individually, love is love, right? People fall in love, white girl, black guy, they fall in love sometimes. And that's that happens. And I'm not going to, that's disgusting. But the problem is when you turn that to the social norm, and then you get the erasure of the white race and white Christian Western America. So
Jake, I'll be honest with you, man. I'll be honest with you. Ever since, I was pretty pro-Israel, man, for like 2 years. Okay. As soon as I spoke up about the racism that I felt inside the Jewish community, as soon as I said Ben Shapiro, Barry Weiss are not winning Gen Z, they're losing this information war. And I got attacked. Fake Jew, Saudi Muslim. I work for Qatar. I work for Iran. The people that actually were supportive of me, believe it or not, We're two groups of people mostly. One was the America First guys, and the other ones were the Middle Eastern guys, like the Iranians, the Arabs. And I went through a rough week, man. I was getting hammered from my own community, man. And America First and the Middle Eastern guys were the only ones that majority. I had other people in the Jewish community too, yes, but I'm not going to take away from it. But they were the ones that were the most empathetic to me, man. So I got a little bit of a soft spot. I'll be honest with you.
No, that's okay. It's okay to have our allegiance.
Maybe I sound like a leftist. Maybe I've become a leftist.
No, you don't. You don't. I'm seeing through. I'm trying to see through the forest and see the trees, and understand that on an individual basis, we have a lot of beautiful people in a beautiful country. But if we're looking 100 years down the line, we need to set the standards correctly for our children and for them to understand, like, hey, here's the people, that I want you to be with in the future, because you have a whole entire bloodline of hundreds of men that have come before you to fought and bled and died for these values, these things that make you unique. And I don't want you to lose those things by going in and falling for, some other type of person or places that aren't who you are and where you're from, and adopting their culture and assimilating into them. Nobody should be assimilating anywhere. We should all be in our places, and I'll come visit you in yours, and then I'll be able to get the full depth and breadth of the experience of being in your country with your people and your heritage. And that's the way it should be, and that's the way I believe it should be. And I think that people are starting to realize that a lot of political battles are really racial battles, kind of covered up by politics, because certain people and certain groups of people live certain ways, and they have certain ideas and certain values that they put forth that are important to them. And it's not rocket science. God knew this from the very beginning. He separated us by the tongues, the Tower of Babel, which is by race, and he put us all in our own places. And he had many racial components. So a lot of the wars that, when he freed the Jewish people from the bondage of Egypt and told him to go up and destroy the Philistines, he said, don't marry into their women. Do not defile yourselves with another people, because you are a specific chosen people. You're the people of a certain bloodline, a certain people that I want to be in this land and whatnot. So, he had ideas for each race and each people according to their own tongues and languages and stuff. And so who am I to tell God, no, you're wrong? We need more white women to be married to Muslim men in America right now. No, I'm not going to tell God that. He would say that's wrong. It's not what I teach you.
So let me ask you this: when you were doing this hearing, this guy right here, this is your famous hearing where you did a pretty powerful speech, man. And so I want to ask you, this guy here, this council member, Mustafa A. Hammoud, is he the sort of Arab that you would deport?
Oh yeah, he's a snide, conquering. He's like an insidious, oh man, slitherer. And
he's not like Ali. He's not like Ali.
No, Ali's great. Ali's great.
But this guy would get Mustafa would get deported.
He's got to, because he has an allegiance to his Quran and to his people and to his way of life more than the American way of life, the Constitution. They have their Sharia police. They will not enforce American laws. They will enforce Muslim law before that. That's why when I got punched, the police, it was a Muslim attacking a kafir. So what do I care? That's why they didn't enforce the laws that we have in America to defend free speech protesters and demonstrators, because they have a higher allegiance. So he also has a higher allegiance.
You think an Arab like that comes to America to conquer you, and he views you as...
Well, they're saying they disagree. If you type into ChatGPT or Grok right now, in 2024, what percentage of Muslims voted Democrat, it's going to tell you 80%, 75 to 80%. So that's just what the voting things say. Maybe a lot of Muslims personally believe differently but don't vote, and the voting ones are like all the young liberated women that go vote. But I'm not, how many imams are out there voting? They're like concerned with their own little community, so
Jake, here's a question at you. Do you think that the feeling is mutual? Do you think that like the Arabs, the Muslims view you as a backward, dirty European? that you should be conquered and submit to them so they can civilize you? Do you think that's how they
I
view
mean, I
you?
guess I don't view them that way.
But do you think no? But do you
I'm
think they,
pissed off,
do
so
you
I
think
come
that's how
off
they
a
view
little.
you? Do you think that's how they view you when there's just them in the room? That you're there to give them complete submission. They're there to conquer Minneapolis, take over Minneapolis.
I
No
mean,
one can steal that place.
what they say in public is even worse than what you're saying now. I don't want to broad brush stroke everybody and say that, but yes, I would say that their religion is not even really a religion. It's more of a political usurpation ideology, how to take over the world. And they have very fanatical about it, very illogical about facts about Muhammad and the degeneracy of their messenger there and the way he lived his life. I would not take my personal teachings, no matter what the teachings were, for anybody who lived a life like Muhammad did. And so, their inability to parse out that information itself and look out and see maybe we're not good for Western civilization shows that they have nefarious, bad faith actors in that they don't care that they don't blend in with our way of life. They don't care that their prophet had pedophilic,
Do you think they're
relations.
afraid of
They
you?
don't care about that. They
Yeah.
care about advancing their political ideology masked as a religion.
Do you think they're afraid of you?
Everyone's afraid of the white man because the white man's the only one that makes freedom. Everyone's afraid of it. There's only one constitution on God's green earth that gives you the right to absolute freedom. And it's the American white European way of life. From the Magna Carta on, every Muslim nation is totalitarian. They are willing to submit. They are a different people. All the Asians, too. They don't have the vigor for some reason that we do to stand up and demand freedom on every level, like the Magna Carta, like natural rights, common law, the American Republic Constitution has baked into it. So, yes,
Is that
everyone else, every other group of people on earth is very easily manipulated and put into. They will fall. They won't fight back as much. They will find their communism, their Marxism, their totalitarianism, their theological, totalitarian governments and whatnot, and their corrupt governments, and they'll live in them. The white man's the man of revolution, so they are afraid of us because we will not ever live under the rule of a king, under the rule of any kind of, we have advanced to proclaim ourselves free men. And the slaves are afraid of the free men because they want what we have, but they don't have the courage to grasp it for themselves.
so? I see here that you just filed a $200 million federal hate crime lawsuit on Dearborn Police Department. It's crazy, man, because I knew Michigan had a lot of Arabs. I remember in college, I went to a community college. I didn't go to like a fancy Harvard or wherever Ben Shapiro went. But I remember there was a kid, and he was from Michigan, I think, and he was telling me how, and I guess Michigan, there's a lot of Arabs. I don't know, but have you noticed how much we're hearing about Dearborn? Like, and it's happened so fast. Do you have a theory on or what do you think it is that it's just like all of a sudden, like in the last 5 years, this has just exploded? Everyone, now we're talking
Elon
about
Musk. Elon Musk opened up Twitter. We saw the Islamification of Europe. Americans are repulsed by it. We see Milan, we see Berlin, we see Norway, Sweden, London, and we see complete failure. And then we start to look around. Where in America is that same experiment going wrong? And Dearborn was head of the snake there. I went out there. I got the Christian worship music over their jihadi prayer call. That opened up the door, and then the Dearborn March completely. I mean, it was the single biggest media event maybe since January 6th, as far as just completely saturating every single aspect of the media. And now ICE is there. Yep, there you go. ICE is. So a lot of people have been messaging me the activism that my group did there, that we accomplished together as the American people, is the single greatest piece of activism in recent history, with the immediate results of ICE showing up, with the immediate results of President Trump declaring all immigration from third world countries ceasing. You know, God forbid we did lose one of the National Guards women defending the White House to the radical Islamic terrorists from Afghanistan. But the combination of the Dearborn March and that tragedy done by Islamic terrorists has created a very unique political environment where everything that, I mean, even the talking points that we've been talking about, some of the things that I said inside that Dearborn City Hall were the exact talking points of Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, that recently, has come out scorched earth saying it's not even just the illegal ones now. If you don't support our country, our value to our country, you're going home. And that's what white American men are saying. Like, that's our heart's cry that I spoke in that that speech in Dearborn, Michigan. When I spoke that speech, that's the cry of the Western man saying, all of them got to go. We want our countries back. It's just a matter of what we want and what's good for the future of our children. So this piece of activism here was incredibly successful. I never imagined.
Yeah, could you run us, like, bro? Like, this is just fact. I've never. I'm 45, man. I've never looked at our country like this. This is just so crazy to me, man. Please walk us through, how did this come about? This whole thing, like, that you did it from.
So,
how did you make this happen?
I had originally set my sights on Dearborn while brainstorming about, ways that we could show the Islamification of America, because I had, wanted to release this new organization, AAI, Americans Against Islamification. So I wanted to, kind of highlight some places that have been Islamified. So I chose Dearborn, went out there, did that viral video of me playing the Christian worship music over the prayer call. The response was overwhelming. People begged for me to go back. I linked up with this gubernatorial candidate out there. He ended up basically falling from his position on things, and I had to completely grab the reins of control and take over the march. He started prostrating before saying there's no Sharia law in Dearborn. It's a completely American city. And he just, like, I don't know who paid him off or what happened there. So I had to lead the march. We got his bus that his campaign manager came over to my team, left him for his weak stances on Islam, came over to my team. We spray painted the bus cuck right when we got out of it. I don't know if you guys saw that. So epic, like, we're here, built our crosses, marched down Dearborn. We were completely abused, and the police did not do a police report. They didn't respond to anything. It was really, it was so, I never felt so unprotected in my life, and it took hours. And then finally Dearborn sent in their white police officers, and this is God honest truth. They were the first ones that actually cared about me, and they put a bike barricade around me outside City Hall because I was surrounded by 300 men, literally following me around and throwing things at me, loudspeakers in my ear. Give me 1 second. I just got to tell my wife I'm on a podcast. She's yelling at me. And so it was complete chaos. And they're screaming, "Allahu Akbar," literally picking up handfuls of mulch and throwing it in my face, in the face of my protesters, my people with me. And it was just so animalistic.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. This is absolute insanity. If this looks like America to you.
This is the protest. This is
outside City Hall in Dearborn. Look at the hundreds of them all over me. I'm the only freaking white guy there, me and Nick Shirley.
And did you have any security with you when you were doing that?
I didn't have security at that event. No, I had a bunch of people that came with me, but they just outnumbered us and started picking us off. I'm going to have security in Texas.
You are a brave dude, bro. You are brave, fucking, bro. You are. You believe in it, man. I can tell you truly, you're a believer. Like, you truly believe in what you're doing. Like, you are all in.
That's how you have to be. I mean, right? I mean, if you watched Irina Zaruski if anybody in this audience watched Irina Zaruski be murdered in cold blood by that violent black thug, and that didn't make you say, I gotta do something, I gotta stand up, then you're cold-blooded reptilian animal. Men stand. Men are moved in times of need, in times of tribulation. We stand. We call we answer the call to defend the women and our children around us and our way of life. And we stand and we die if necessary. That's what men do. And I just want to be somebody that can be considered just an old school, regular old man. Just send me, Lord. Here I am. If you need me, I'll go into any crowd, anywhere, any place, anytime, because I'm not going to be, look at my granddaughter in the eyes one day and she says, Grandpa, what did you do when, America was still 60% white? Because now it's only 22%. And I don't even know any white kids. What did you do when they were coming here? And I'd be like, I played Xbox, I can't. I got to say I did everything in my heart to stand before my Lord one day and tell him, Lord, I tried to defend my way of life that you told me was the right thing to do. So I pray I'm blessed in that.
I don't know your feelings on this, man, but there were a lot of, since you were a political prisoner for J6, some people think that Nick Fuentes was a Fed and that he encouraged people to go storm the Capitol. And then somehow he was the only one maybe who got away. What's your theory on that?
I don't know. I like what Nick Fuentes says. He doesn't seem to me a lion-hearted man. Nationalism is not a flag, but I don't know. He doesn't seem to be a lion-hearted man. I don't think he could have survived prison. Poor little Nick. I like what he says, but he's like a theater kid. He's better at saying it than doing it. So God bless him. And I don't know what he is, but
yeah.
I don't know if I'd have him in my foxhole. I just don't know about that.
Did you get any fights in what did they do to? Well, since you got a Jewish mom, what did they do to you in prison, man?
I was white and right and tight, baby.
Oh, you were at the Aryan Nation? Were you at like the area? Is there like an Aryan Nation in prison?
There is, but where I was at, so I was in DC jail with the J6ers, so I never got to be in general population there, except for in the whole solitary. I did 2.5 years of solitary, and then in Brooklyn federal prison, I was mixed in with the worst of the worst, and in Lewisburg federal penitentiary, but there were still like 50 J6ers there with me most of the time. So we had our whole own group. But in Brooklyn federal prison, I was one of the only white guys there. So I had like 4 or 5 white guys, and we stayed together and we held it down. We ate together, showered, made sure everybody was watching out, gotten a good amount of fights, nothing I'm proud of. I had to carry a knife with me whenever I showered, carry a knife with me whenever I was at. People tried to rob me, had to defend myself. I wrestled in college, so it wasn't too hard to defend myself versus, people that don't know how to fight. But when they bring the knives out, that's when it gets really dangerous, unfortunately. Was
it mostly black guys that were fighting?
All black, yeah, all ghetto black freaking losers that saw me as easy prey because I was one of the only white guys, but they had another thing coming for them. I'll tell you that.
Did they call you white boy? What did they call you? I'm just curious.
Yeah, white boy usually is it, but in prison that's like almost like the white boys that's a prison gang, so that's not a derogatory term. So you say I'm rolling with the white boys. If they're asking like who you with, I'm with the white boys. And then there was
or
the ABs for Aryan Brotherhood, but they didn't have that. That's a down south thing. I was up in New York, so
what would happen? What would happen to a guy like me? Who where would I go? Middle East.
You would turn Muslim. I was just arguing with Suleiman about this.
That's the only ones that even though, but
no,
they said I was a Jew.
No, you would. We'd probably claim you in the white. We'd probably claim you as white. Yeah, if you're Jewish or Christian and you're not like, you'd be with the white boys, I'm sure.
But would I get hazed? Would I get extra duties?
100%, 100%.
Would I get equal voting rights within the Aryan Nation?
There's no equal voting rights in the freaking Aryan Nation there. It's just like the the people who've been there the longest call the shots, or sometimes you have a good figure that pops up who's serious, who knows what he's doing. Like basically, if you have a guy that's been in prison for 15, 20 years and he shows up on your block, and that your current leader has only been in for like 4 years, the guy who's been there for like 15, 20 years, who knows everybody, who has all the the components and stuff, probably gonna like lead your car from then on out, because he's got the most time in, and he's got the most stain, the respect on his name. So it's a whole entire disgusting culture. You don't want to know about it. Nobody wants to know about it. It's disgusting.
No,
It's
but I
just
mean,
violence and power. It's like apes in a jungle
no, but
vying for power.
Jake, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I'm not a homo. I mean, I'm married, but I'm just saying, like, objectively, you're a handsome white guy, man. So, like, when you were in
yeah, take that, all you Jew haters.
Yeah, no, man. But I'm just saying, when you were in prison, were you?
Oh no, I had a big old. I was big old beard and a ponytail. I looked like a mountain man in prison. I was not like all shaved up and stuff. I didn't shave one time in prison. I had freaking big beard, and I was big gristly. I'm 210 pounds now. I went into prison like 150 pounds, and I put on all this weight, push-ups, beard, chest hair. Rocking the white power. You got to do what you got to do, baby.
Were you scared to take Were you scared to take a shower?
No, I mean, I had people that we had to watch each other in prison. You know what I mean? Like, if you were going to shower, I would stand outside the shower and hold you down. It's called holding the guy down. And you would have a knife, I'd have a knife, and we would make sure that nobody bum rushed you. But, I wasn't into any gambling, drug dealing, anything, or buying drugs or doing drugs or any of this stuff that can get you in trouble. So I didn't really have a target on my back, but I was a very big public figure. And so people knew I had access. I usually buy a cell phone. If I was in Brooklyn prison, I could buy a cell phone off the guards, and they tried to rob me on my cell phone, which is why I got into so many fights, because I wasn't giving up my cell phone for anything. Nobody, nothing.
So is that what you were more afraid of, that you would take a shower and you would get stabbed and raped? Was that the more bigger fear?
No, the shower wasn't a big fear, because that's old. That's like old prison, like kind of like fake. I don't know. They don't do that. It's when you're in your cell alone, like taking a crap or just waking up, and like 6 guys show up in your cell with knives, and they want your food or your cell phone. That's the shitty scenario. And that's the scenarios where you got to fight for your life, and you just got to just come out of bed like a banshee, grab a lock and a sock, done whatever you can do, do whatever you can do to fight them off, and that's the worst scenario to be in, because it's just you versus them, and it sucks. It really sucks. I got hit pretty bad a few times. I got stabbed before, so.
Stabbed?
Yeah.
By a black man?
By a black man, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, it sucks reliving the scenarios. I mean, I remember waking up and a nap and having like 4 black guys hovering above me, with knives out. You know what I mean? I'm laying down in bed, and I'm like, they're like, give it your cell phone, give the cell phone up. We know you got one. And I'm like, and I gotta like stand up and pretend I'm looking for it. Then boom, turn around, rock somebody, get stabbed, push a couple guys out of the way.
You also fought.
Oh, you gotta fight. You can't. If you ever show you're a punk, they'll never stop bullying you. They'll never stop taking everything you have. They'll never stop. You just set yourself up for complete, utter humiliation as a man, and they'll always come.
But were you scared that if you fought, they would fight you harder and kill you?
No, you earn your respect in prison. Once you buck up, it's called. Once you buck up, especially because I wrestled in college. I'm an objectively much more trained fighter than any of these idiot kids that were there. I heard a couple people when you need to hurt somebody, and the word gets around, there's easier prey, basically. You just have to move yourself up the food chain of who's the easiest one to get to roll over and get what they want out of them. And if you're not the easiest one, you'll put yourself on the back burner, and they'll find somebody else.
Okay, so now you have this big protest. Like, could you please, so for people that are interested, that look at this stream now or later, just in general, so could you please tell us, right now, a big deal is that the Somali pirates, the terrorists that have invaded our homeland here in the United States, have captured Minneapolis, if I understand correctly, and you're going to do a protest to reclaim Minneapolis back under the American flag. Basically, is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
If you could tell us, how could people organize? How could people help you reclaim this American city from the Somali pirates, terrorists?
Thank you. So we're going January 17th. Bring your winter jackets. Everybody says I'm crazy because to go to Minneapolis in the winter is like marching on the frozen tundra, but we're doing it because it's necessary to do. January 17th, 2026, we will be there. That's a Saturday in Little Somalia, aka Minneapolis. And we have a couple events before that. We're doing December 13th, Plano, Texas, the Epic City, Epic Mosque, the Muslim only city there. We're marching on it December 13th. Then January 4th, we will be at the headquarters of AIPAC doing a press conference and a demonstration out there telling AIPAC we don't want them buying our politicians anymore. Then January 17th, we will be in Minneapolis. So a lot on the menu there. We're, taking this momentum we've been able to build and starting to concentrate it and really deliver more results for the American people. If they want to support us, you can go and donate to our cause. GiveSendGo.com/Dearborn March, GiveSendGo.com/Dearborn March, or go to dearbornmarch.com and you can put in your email and stuff like that there and get all the updates on everything we're doing. The official website that we're running off of Islamification.org, and that leads to the same one as dearbornmarch.com right now. So any of those places you go, but really if you want to donate, GiveSendGo.com/Dearborn March. And
Jake, if
really,
I know we've gone late, man. I know we've gone late. If you got time, I do 2 more questions, and then we finish this up, man.
Sure.
It's thank you for staying so long.
No problem, brother.
I appreciate it, man. When you think about what's going on here, what is the action step? What do you actually do you want Ilhan Omar? I understand there's evidence that maybe she married her brother. It sounds like people in Homeland Security are saying that she married her brother. There's significant evidence now. It seems like Trump might move on that. What do you have any indication from the Trump team? What's going? Do you think she can get deported, or what do you see as the steps
on the activist side of things, which is where we're strong at, is helping shape the cultural and the public outcry for the Trump administration to make the moves that we're seeing them make right now. So I don't have any more insight other than we're just going to keep hammering until our elected officials listen to our will. That's it. That's all we can do as the American people. On the other side of things, I'm running for United States Senate in the state of Florida against Ashley Moody. And I will be a policymaker one day, God willing, that can actually put rubber to the road on some of these things. But for now, I'm out there in the streets and fighting. Yep, look at that. It's not only Israel, it's almost every foreign country. 100%. That's America First. That's right there. That guy, he kind of looks like a Jew. That's your average America First Jew now. Now that we're in alignment right now, we're going to be about to be the America First Jews are about to be the strongest force in politics because, nobody does it like we do it at the end of the day. It's a difference.
Honestly, Jake, I'm telling you right now, bro, I'm telling you, if people in 6 months, 1 year, they're going to see guys like you and me speak up, then others are going to start speaking up. And I think that a lot of Jews actually are like, you know what, Ben Shapiro, Barry Weiss don't represent us, man. They see a guy like you who's gone towards, Catholicism. Me, I am Jewish, but by my faith, I believe in Hashem, the Torah. I wrap tefillin with a rabbi. However, in the Torah does not say I have to go along with a political party in a state of Israel that was formed in 1948. And I have to kiss Ashkenazi Ben Shapiro's feet and lick his ass. No, it doesn't say that. I mean, I don't have to do any of that. Like in the Torah, it does not say I have to do that. In the Talmud, it doesn't have to say anything like that. And I know.
Watch out for the Talmud. The Talmud's not the written word of God. Okay, it's just a blog.
I know you're not a fan of the rap. I know you're not a fan of the Talmud. For me, there's a lot of beautiful lessons in there, bro. But
of course, but the devil hides beauty inside of anguish all the time. So just watch out because there are some lessons in there that are not kosher or they're dialogues. I understand, but no grown men should ever even discussing the nature of sexual consent of 3-year-olds. I mean, I don't understand why on God's green earth. I know that these are like rabbis like trying to like delve into the minutia of Jewish law. But no, sorry, burn that shit. It's disgusting.
All right, can I just tell you though, bro? Can I just tell you? I know you're Catholic. I know you're Catholic, but I want you to know, I've never spoken to a Jewish person that said we're going to do something like that with a three. I just want you to
Oh
know.
no,
that.
of course not. I don't believe that. I just
I've
on the
never
facial
seen.
value of it. And there's and baked into the Talmud as well, there's some like lessons about like non-Jews being worth less or testimony, and like some other, kind of, it almost sounds like some Islamic, stuff in there where it's like they're kafirs, they're goyim, they're, don't if a non-Jew strikes a Jew, he needs a death penalty, but if a Jew strikes a non-Jew, then it's just pay them back, so there's like inconsistencies with being everybody equal, which I don't agree with. I believe everyone's equal, except for women. They're not equal. No, I'm kidding.
You think women? Well, so
No, I want them to vote. I just don't want them to vote their own destruction. They can vote like right wing and far right wing. You have two choices. Anybody that's not voting right wing or far right wing, I don't want you to vote. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's easy because anything else is a destruction of the human race. So.
I want you to know something, man. There's a lot of, I don't know if it's Soviet propaganda. I don't know if it's from Al Jazeera. I actually don't know where it's from, but I do think there's a lot of bad things that they say about the Talmud, the rabbis' interpretations and stuff like that, that they sort of just slander it, man. And like, they'll take like something that was like a 2,000-year-old legal debate and they mistranslate it. And maybe it was not even, and by the way, I'm not a rabbi. I'm actually not that religious. I pray maybe I pray in the morning and night. I try to do a Jewish prayer in the morning, wash my hands, my face. But I'm here I am on Shabbat in the evening. You asked me, earlier before we even started the stream, do I do, am I observant of Shabbat? I mean, here I am. I mean, tomorrow I won't post any content. It's Saturday. And I married a German evangelical Christian. So, I might get, I might get attacked by the Jewish community as, my child's Goyim, right? So I just want you to know, man, like my daughter is Goyim. I love my daughter. Like I look at her equal, but this is what I want, so just one thing I'd like to
calling your daughter Goyim in 2025 is diabolical. That's crazy.
But let me tell you something.
I know, but the chat's got to be like, me too. I'm like, did he just call his daughter Goyim?
No, but hold on.
I know it's a derogatory term in 2025. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah,
it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to mean the Gentiles, the gentler ones.
Yeah. I'm telling you, bro. Like my father I lost my father, but the father that I have still is my father-in-law. He's a German. He's a German man, and I truly love him, man. Like a father, he took me in like a son, despite the fact that I'm a darkie. He took me in like a son, and he's goy, and I look at him.
You're not that dark. Don't hate yourself that much. I'm kidding.
I get a little,
No, don't. Last thing, one of the things that I want to leave off with this thing is that, especially because of my Jewish
I want you to
heritage,
view me as an equal too. I don't want to be like a token.
No, we're all equal. We are all equal, all made in the image of God.
I already feel like a sand nigger within the Jewish Ashkenazi.
No, you can't. And that's the thing. Like one of the worst things we can do right now for masculinity, for manhood, for moving forward with what we're doing is we can't let even Ben. My mother's an Ashkenazi Jew. Ben Shapiro, he's dark, bro. It's funny, but one of the worst things we can do right now, even with some of my talking points, is try to make people hate, like try to conform and hate themselves for who they are. Like if you're Indian or Pakistani, nothing wrong with that. If you're dark Jew, not a dark Jew. If you're a Nordic white man with blue eyes, if you're just an English man with brown hair, whatever it is, we can't deny our own ancestral bonds and how we are, how we're built, because God made us all blessed and loved. So we need to, obviously call out the bad factions in. I don't believe that. God would not make himself not white. My most famous saying this last week. I don't believe that what Ronald Bonespur is saying. That's hilarious. God would not make himself not white. It's my famous saying. There's no way. There's no way. There's
Jake,
no way.
Jake, I want to tell you,
But I'm
Jake,
saying we can't. We cannot start to repress our identities because the far right wing groypers say only white people are cool or only like it's okay to be Jewish bloodline. It's okay to have different opinions and values and stuff like that. Just my country. I want it to be like my people. That's it. It's okay. I'll go over to your guys' countries and visit, enjoy your heritages and stuff and your traditions. But my country, I just want it to remain my country.
Jake, from what I look at, man, we got like easily like 5x the largest stream right now on X, bro. So I think people like listening to you, man. I want to say something to you, bro, and I just want to see what you think about it. All right, it's like I know you can't take that much offense because we both have Jewish moms. We're mixed. I know, I get it, but I just want you're a white man, you're Catholic, you're a Catholic, you have a Catholic father. I get it, So this is what I want to say to you. You said something about the. And I know there's probably a Jewish guy after everything I've said on this stream is going to say I'm a sellout. I did this with you. I've betrayed my people. I'm a disgrace to the Jewish community. I already know that, but let me just say this one thing.
We're the ones fighting for the Jewish community.
They hate me. They don't seem to hate you like they hate me. But so I don't know what.
Well, I'm not really in the Jewish community, but we're fighting to make sure that these people, white Americans, which they are, have a future here in this country.
Bro, we just had a guy named Peter Barnett, basically. All right, this guy goes to fucking from what I understand, this leftist Jew goes to Israel, completely smashes them, panders to Hamas. They leave him alone, but they come after me, and I'm pretty fucking right wing, bro. It doesn't make sense. They pick and choose who they come after. But there's this one thing you said I want to talk about here briefly, just very 1 minute. You said something. I think you said something along the lines of non-Jews. You said something about, and it's like a testimony, and I just want to know, I want you to know that in those ancient rabbinic courts, they did have strict rules. Like, for example, you're a man, you're an adult, you're a religious Jew, and then you
own property.
Yeah, hold on. Then you could testify. But that wasn't necessarily, just so everyone knows this, so they don't hate Jews more.
I know that's super base, by the way.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. No, because I want everyone to notice that thinks the worst of us. That wasn't about non-Jewish inferiority, because it also excluded, let's say, women, secular Jews, criminals, gamblers, anyone with a bias. So when you think about ancient Greece or ancient, like the Roman courts, they have these religious. There's these, you have religious internal community courts. Yeah, it's not a civil court. So the Judaism that people are talking about back then and in today, the Judaism today does not teach that non-Jews testimony, okay, is invalid. And I think if you speak to rabbis, and I encourage everyone, you could speak to a rabbi and they'll tell you that sort of stuff you find on X is largely outdated. It's historical and it's just not binding. And another thing,
it's what it is it's very easy for people to mobilize against it, right? They pick and choose. The thing that I beg always the question of is you have what the texts say, but you also have the way people live. And the way I just had this argument with Suleiman for an hour and a half because he's an idealist. He wants to say, no, the Quran doesn't say that. I say, I don't give a shit what the Quran says. Look at how women and look at how gays are treated in these countries all over the world, everywhere. And so, you have the practice of Judaism in its current context is you go to Brooklyn and go look at the communities. There's no homeless. It's all clean. Everyone's got jobs. The women dress modestly. Everything looks okay. It looks like a normal functioning community there. They're not following, obviously, some of these old ancient laws that say, certain people aren't worth as much and stuff like that. So in the Judaism in practice on the micro level in different communities in America, whatnot is fine. It doesn't to me, it doesn't look bad. I don't like the Hasidic-ism of certain communities where they turn all the signage, all the clothing and everything, and it makes it look like not America. Same way as I don't like the Islamification. So I denounce Hasidicism, making a whole entire area a whole entire city, let's say, for example, which they have not done. They've only done certain sections. Like Dearborn is a whole city council, school system, everything looks like is Islamified. The Jews don't necessarily do that anywhere. But regardless, I stand against Hasidic Jews taking a whole entire, let's say, a city like Dearborn and turning it all into like a Jewish Mecca with all Jewish signage, Jewish culture, Jewish food, Jewish language, because that's not American. So I denounce that. But at the same time, the way that Jews practice their current modern day religious values and the way that Muslims practice their current modern day religious values are two totally different standards. Look at Israel. It's a modern day, mostly free country where you have most First Amendment rights, Second Amendment rights, and your daughter can walk home at 3 a.m. from a nightclub to her home and not be, messed with or whatnot, because it's like a normal society over there. They live like normal people live. They're European westernized. But in Islamic countries, it's totalitarianism, it is oppression, and it is dangerous, and it is ugly and non-welcoming to any other race. So, we have those differences, and we need to call those things out. I'm not shilling for Judaism right now, just looking at the pure raw facts that Jewish. When's the last time you saw a Jewish person go and kill National Guard? And scream out, Hashem. It just never happened. It won't ever happen. So they do assimilate better than the Arabs do.
Jake,
they're not perfect. We gotta assimilate them a little more.
Yeah, Jake. It's very important to me though, because I know we have a lot of people here who probably hate both of us, or hate me at least, because I'm a Jew. I just want everyone, to truly understand this, including you, Jake, that in modern Judaism, because I am Jewish, man, by faith. I believe in Hashem with all my heart. I believe I'm a servant of Hashem. I actually believe I'm a servant of Hashem, and I'm here to help people. And I believe that, So I think I have a gift from Hashem, and I'm a servant of Hashem. Very clear, And I want everyone to know myself as a Jewish man who wraps tefillin, not every day, not every week, but when at a rabbi. When if I meet up with a rabbi, for example, I like to do it. I love doing it. I love to be close to Hashem. And I just want you guys all to know that in the modern Judaism, all humans are created in the image of God, and all humans, including my evangelical Christian wife and my daughter, have equal moral worth, and that non-Jews can achieve righteousness and salvation. In fact, the Talmud, which has some of the most beautiful lessons about humility and so forth that I've learned, that have helped me as a father, as a husband. It says something like this. It says something like, the righteous of all nations have a share in the world to come. Okay, that's like a quote. And that basically is saying that in Jewish law, it's holding good non-Jews equal to good people with spiritual reward equal to Jews. So there's zero doctrine that says that non-Jews are inferior, including my daughter. That my wife.
I've read.
Hold on. That my wife is worthless. That my wife is worthless, or that any non-Jewish person should be harmed. I just want to get that off my chest.
So I understand where you're coming from. I've read actual verses from Sanhedrin, which was the council that literally voted to kill Jesus. But there are certain texts. No, literally. I mean, we killed Jesus with our own sins in our own blood. Every one of us. Nobody specifically killed Jesus. Jesus is dead because we're sinners, but he is alive because God's grace is greater than any sin. But I've read the Sanhedrin verses. In the Talmud, Sanhedrin. There's many Jewish books that are considered. Part of the spoken whatever the spoken law it's called. There's the written law and the spoken law. And so anyway, I've read certain texts that are very unsettling, and I'll send you some of them. But I know modern day Judaism. I have sat down with rabbis. I have gone to Shabbat dinners and listened to them as a Christian, as a Bible believing, born again Christian, and listened and saw the practices in which they're teaching, being full of fruits of God, full of them. So, I've never heard, a bunch of Jews get in a room and be like, oh, we have to get the goyim and feed them slop. And, but that being said, there are, no, I've never seen that, and I know there are rooms of Muslims that are like, these dirty white pigs and dogs, we have to take over their countries and stuff. I know there are rooms of that. I mean, they go into their churches, their mosques, and say, Islam will enter every house, we will, by the sword, we will take it. So I never heard that from the Jews. But that being said, that does not deter from the fact that the highest levels of false Judaism, the Luciferian, New World Order, Zionistic, false Jews, the ones that own OnlyFans, the ones that own Pornhub, the ones behind the rap industry, entertainment industry, those ones that have fallen away from Torah, that have fallen away from any relationship with Hashem, any relationship with God, those people need to be outright banished from the Jewish community. They have no right to claim Judaism, sitting there with a yarmulke on, making interracial porn called Blacked. You disgust me. You're not Jewish. You're subhuman people. These people that own these industries, the rap, the porn industries, the banking industry, all of those people, they're not Jews. They're barely even one step above filth. So I denounce them.
Yeah, Jake, in regards, just so my Christian friends know this is like very important too. There's another very important thing. And I say this, I could be wrong. Again, I am not a rabbi. All right. However, in the Talmud, that if someone says that in the Talmud, Jews killed Jesus, that might actually come from like a medieval, like a Christian polemic. That's actually not necessary. I don't think that's from the Talmud itself, because the Talmud never says, as far as I know.
No. It's in the Bible, the Sanhedrin, the council. The Jewish council was asking Rome to give him the death penalty. The Roman emperor, or the Roman surrogate, Pontius Pilate, said, do it as you will, basically handing him over to death. So it was a mixture between the Roman and the Jewish. It's just all non-believers. We all killed Jesus. Everyone who sins.
Jake, let me tell you, like when I study beautiful lessons, truly beautiful lessons from the Talmud about humility. And it literally helps me as a businessman, helps me as a husband, helps me as a father. And I just want you to know, man, I've never, ever, ever read anything in the Talmud that says anything along the lines of Jews killed Jesus, Jews must kill Jesus.
It doesn't say that in the Talmud. That's about biblical. It's in the Bible.
Yeah. But
It doesn't say Jews killed Jesus. It's the onus is not on any one man. It's on, Jesus gave himself over to death. He died willingly as the Lamb of God. He was sent here to lay down his life for his children, to be the propitiation of our sins, to be the final sacrificial blood sacrifice that cleanses and stands in the gap between God and us and our sin, which separates us from God. He is the covering over that. And so,
Jake,
thank God. This is crazy, but thank God Jesus has died for our sins, so that our flesh curse can be lifted off us. Because if the Jews didn't kill Jesus, or Pontius Pilate didn't kill Jesus, or a mixture of all of that plus our sins didn't kill Jesus, we wouldn't be redeemed, and we have no hope of heaven. So I stand in gratitude that my God decided to lay down his life for me and show me that love, because it wasn't any one man that killed Jesus. It was all of us that in our sinful nature and our disobedience to God. So, that's my understanding. But, we need to,
the one thing too, man, to your earlier point about like the Jews, like coming together and saying, we're going to go do something. I want you to know something, man. Like for us Jewish people, at least for me, I can't speak for every Jew, but just for myself as a guy who loves the Torah and loves Hashem, is we do not preach domination. So I think you somewhat alluded to that. And we also do not preach hatred of non-Jews. I've never heard a rabbi tell me this, and we do not, or tell me to do that. And we also do not preach supremacy. And as Jewish people, we do not preach killing anyone.
And that's the problem. Listen, because it's the non-Jews, the false Jews that Jesus warned us about, that do try to tarnish the reputation of Bible-believing, Torah-believing, righteous Jews such as yourself. They twist that. they're the ones making the bad rap. The Harvey Weinsteins, the
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epsteins, these false Jewish figures,
The
the
leftists,
ones that own Pornhub and
yeah.
all of it, almost every porn company,
I mean, the leftist
non-religious,
Hollywood Jews,
non-Bible believing, false Jews.
the
They're the
leftist.
ones that create the stereotype for all Jews, and that's the wrong part because you're right. Unlike the Muslims, you will never go into any Jewish synagogue in America or Israel and hear any message of hatred, any message of supremacy ever. But the problem is, it's the ones, as Jesus called us, the the synagogue of Satan. Good God, this Jew is starting. Which Jew? Which one are you talking about?
Probably me. I think this lady.
I mean, it's a black lady.
Probably
You
me.
probably, it's a black lady icon, and for a black lady to call a white guy annoying, you guys are the most annoying people on earth. God forbid. Everyone knows it. You want to be in a movie theater with a black lady, okay?
Yeah, but yo, just so you know too, man. Like honestly, man. Like my rabbi, one of my rabbis that I speak to, he said this to me. It was very interesting. He says that the woke leftists, like the Hollywood Jew, the woke is evil, man.
Oh,
Woke
they're
is evil,
bad.
and that actually is not. That does not represent us Jewish people, man. Like, so I'm all for talking about the woke evil. Uh, the doctrines that not just Jews, but even Europeans and Christians have. It's the woke stuff is in Germany too, man. It's not just Jews. That woke is like a mind virus. You look at it in India. They even got it in India, man. They got it. That woke stuff is going. You go to Israel, they got that woke issue. That's not an exclusive.
That's one of the things that turns me off the most about the state of Israel is like their love of homosexuality over there. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I mean, it's one thing to be like, tolerant or non-oppressive, the way I would put it. I mean, I don't want to be tolerant of gay people in America anywhere. I want to be non-oppressive. Like, we don't want to like tolerate or like or make that the standard, but we don't want to oppress them either. They're human beings and they have a right to do what they want to do, and God will punish them accordingly. But you know, that's one of the things that really just repulses me about the current state of Israel. And that's one of the things, you go into a very deep Hasidic Orthodox Jewish community, a lot of them like don't even recognize the state of Israel because it's not like a Jewish state of Israel. It's like this false, they have like super homosexual gay. I mean, it's like the homosexual capital of that whole entire part of the world. And like true Jewish Orthodox rabbis, if you had talked to them, they like they reject that being the state of Israel because they're like, no state of Israel that's the actual biblical Israel that God has promised and talks about would ever not be like a religious like God loving, God fearing state, because the current state of Israel is not that. They're not that, and they're I hope that good Jews do take over and kick out all the Zionists. Like, when we call Zionists, we're not talking about state of Israel, right to the state of Israel. Zionist is the new term for like Rothschild, banker, false, Hollywood owning Jews. That's what we call Zionists now, basically.
In the Torah, by the way, in the Torah for us Jews, it nowhere does it say the word, I think, gay. Just so you know. But in the Torah, it does forbid male to male penetrative sex. That's literal. That's basically literal. Like I'm saying it in English. I'm not saying it in another language. But so homosexuality and that woke mind virus, as Elon likes to say, bro, like if you abandon the Torah, if you abandon Hashem, that's very bad for us as Jewish people, man, of faith. That's actually when it gets, let's just say, not that good for us.
Yeah, that's when Sodom and Gomorrah happens, and we start turning to pillars of salt. And
we got like, have you heard of Reform Judaism?
Yes, I have, and it's
like
repulsive. It's
that's like they've like bro, like they
that's like the Episcopal, false with the women and the gay pastors and stuff. They're not. It's complete false Christianity. It's like they have nothing to do with us. They're unholy, invenerable. Oh.
Yeah, Reform Judaism is, I think one of my rabbis, he's also a therapist. I talk to him occasionally. After I got slammed and slandered by my own community for talking about some basic things, I was disoriented. And he said something to me about Reform Judaism. I think it came out of like Europe or Germany. But the thing is however, the thing is that you can actually have a homosexual rabbi in Reform Judaism, and you can fully like affirm your homosexual identity. There's no prohibition on that. Whereas in Orthodox Judaism, it holds very clearly that male to male penetrative sex is
an abomination. Exact word. And it is. It is. And we don't want to normalize that. Now, do we want to be like in the Arab world chasing you down the street with a noose ready to kill you for it? No. You know, we're not barbarians like the Muslims, but I do think that Israel's too welcoming of it. Way too welcoming of it. It goes without question. They got to square that away. They got to square away their willingness to peddle foreign influence on us and drag us into forever wars. They got to square away the banking, Hollywood, and porn industry connections, and then maybe white people will invite Jews back to the table to be in the the European little enclave here. But until you Jews don't fix that, you're not allowed at the table with us. Sorry, we're fixing our own countries first.
On a final note, man, do you look at America as a Judeo-Christian country?
Bro, if I answered that the way you want me to answer that, I'd get canceled offline. No, I don't, honestly. I don't know what the term Judeo-Christian, I don't know who concocted that. It's kind of like the great melting pot thing. No, America is a Christian country. That's it, okay? That's how our founding fathers founded it and envisioned it. Now, do we have room for all different creeds to live here in peace? Yes, but in peace as Americans. So that's it. That's how it is. America's a white Christian country, and it will remain a white Christian country because crusaders like me are willing to die on that mountain.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say something. I don't think I'm going to make anyone happy with my view on it. By the way, I don't think you're gonna. I don't think anyone's going to like what I'm about to say, bro. Like, literally, like I'm going to get insulted no matter what I say. So I'm just going to say. Say
what you want. That's America. That's how you should be. Screw haters. They're all Indian bots.
Okay, so here's the thing. All right, so is America a Judeo-Christian country? I think that there's some truth that about 80 years back, it became popular. In the political way, and I think there's some truth to that, by the way. However, I also think there's some truth that America does have a Judeo-Christian history that's unrefutable, and I'll tell you why. Because the founding fathers, the framers, they literally drew heavily on what they learned from the Hebrew Bible. So even the non-religious founders literally referenced the Exodus story. Everyone can fact check me. They reference the covenants. Everyone can fact check me. The idea that the idea that rights come from God, not kings. Anyone can fact check me. And that moral law is above human law. Anyone can fact check me. And anyone can fact check me when I say that George Washington, Adams, Jefferson, literally all cited Hebrew scripture. So the notion that Jewish ethics and Christian culture is the literal bedrock of our American identity. It's not a leap for me.
It's a good argument. Here's the thing, though. It's non-cohesive to the current political atmosphere to die on those type of hills because like that's why a lot of my leanings have said I'm looking at the end goal. What is best to bring the American people together to meet the goals that I've discussed here tonight? Returning to family-based, white Christian, loving America where we have our country and our identity and our heritage and back. And so matters of Judeo-Christian America or Israel and stuff seem to be splitting us up when they're identity politics that the left plays and they want us to pander into. If you're for small government, Second Amendment, constitutional rights, freedom of speech, family values, and the continuation of a majority of a white Christian country based off of European heritage, if you're for that, those things, then I don't give a shit about any other argument you have. Let's meet those goals. And that's it. That's where I'm at. That's where most people I'm at. That's why we just said America first, America only, because any other arguments that detract or pull away or create dissension inside this crowd, any other things, any other questions that are not, the Bible tells us if a question is not have the consequences of salvation, meaning it's not a matter of salvation, and the answer to that question or the arguments around that question seem to be creating dissension, don't even speak on it. If it's not a matter of salvation of America, if it's not an intrinsic, deep level question, then we shouldn't be pulling apart each other. For the far right that wants to say Judeo-Christian is an insult, and the middle right, Jewish, right part of it say, no, it is Judeo-Christian because this is that. If it's pulling apart MAGA, and if it's making us devour one another, the question on Israel, if it's pulling apart MAGA, Israel, Palestine, or this or that, if it's pulling apart, we should just drop those questions, say they're not matters of salvation. Here's the values I believe in. I don't care. I'm America first. So screw if it's a Judeo-Christian country and I want to die on that moral, platitude and drive away, 80% of the people that are on my side on 99% of the topics. But because I say it's a Judeo-Christian country, which I don't, I haven't not said that. But if I made that statement and I would just start to create dissension and create all this, disorder inside our movement, then it's just not worth it to even have the arguments or speak on the topics. Screw it. Screw Palestine, screw Israel, America first, America only, screw Judeo-Christian. We're a Christian country. Let's get together underneath this flag and save Western civilization. None of these other matters are important enough to pull apart what we're building here because the leftists don't share any of these things we're talking about. They want our kids to be trans. They want our kids to be Muslim. They want our kids to be black, trans, and on food stamps within 50 years. So wake up, America. We have a big, big problem, a big battle to fight.
Literally, none of the founding fathers were Muslim or Hindu, as far as I know, and they were all the major founding fathers were in fact Protestant Christians, right? So, and also another thing is that I don't think there was any Muslim or Hindu signer of the Declaration of Independence or the Constitutions or the Articles of Confederation. You probably know this stuff way more than me. So there was literally no Muslims or Hindus that were in the Continental Congress. And I think everyone can fact check me when I say this. However, as far as I know, now you tell me because I think that you've probably researched this quite a bit. I do think that Thomas Jefferson studied Islamic law and that he actually owned a Quran that I don't know, but I think you can find it in the Library of Congress, and that Thomas Jefferson, your boy Tommy, that he actually used parts of Islamic legal philosophy when he was studying the comparative law. So what do you think about that?
Thomas Jefferson was a deist at best. He was not a Christian. He rewrote the Bible, taking out every single miracle of Jesus Christ. And Thomas Jefferson, though he was a giant in philosophy and in legalistic interpretations, and I'm sure he pulled from way more than just the Quran, more than the Bible, more than Sun Tzu, Art of War. I'm sure that man was an absolute giant of philosophy and intellectual to draft what he drafted and to spearhead what he spearheaded. But I wouldn't take my moral leanings on him or Benjamin Franklin, for who by all reports was morally repugnant type of dude with like some type of cult he was with in London over there, sexual kind of stuff. So some of our founding fathers weren't even Christians, they were deists, but they based everything based off, and most of them were Christians, Protestant Christians.
Yes, yeah.
But many of them were deists and many of them were Enlightenment age thinkers. But all of that spins out of the culture of Christianity and the church bringing Western civilization, the bedrock on which all of the industrial age, the technological age, the Bronze Age, the Golden Age. All these things were built off of the church, the rock on which the world stands, Jesus Christ Church. And so, though some of them may have drawn things from all over the place, they were, at the end of the day, white Christian men who believed in one God, who believed in the teachings of Jesus Christ. And they may not agree on everything, but they agreed on the same battles that I'm talking about now. They didn't, I'm sure maybe somebody in, the Continental Congress was talking about Israel, whatever. And Thomas Jefferson and a lot of the guys like, dude, we're talking about the freedom of the new world here. We don't need to go and to have arguments on moral platitudes that are going to pull us apart. There are certain inalienable congruencies in our message that we need to focus on here. So stop talking about that. Stop talking about that. Let's get focused. So that's where I'm at. That's why I'm America first, America only.
Yeah.
There's no point in causing dissension in this party. I'm an American. I've never known any other country. I've never known anything other than being a Christian. And I want to maintain that identity of this country because that's who I am. That's how I was raised. And that's how I want my kids raised. It's very simple. And 10 million, 20 million, 50 million other young men who look like me and want the same thing for their kids and believe like I do. And I speak for them. And I don't know how to speak for all these other classes and races and people here. All I know is people who look like me and believe like me are the majority, and we don't want to become the minority. And I want to fight to make sure that my way of life and my way of thinking and my values and heritage remain a self-determined American, supremacy here. That's all. And any other argument or any other faction that's trying to detract from that goal, I don't care. I don't want to argue. I don't want anything. I want to maintain laser focus in getting these democrats and these invaders out and our country back on track. And everybody can agree with that. That is on my side of the field, I believe.
You know what, Jake? I love this America first mindset that you have, and if me as a Jewish person here in Florida, if I had to pick woke mind virus or a president that reads the Bible, I would definitely take a president that reads the Bible and he's a Christian and goes to church, even if it's just once every 2 months, over a woke liberal leftist. That's in such an easy. I support a Christian country that looks at the Bible. I think the Bible is a very beautiful book. My wife has a German Bible. It's in German. My wife's German. She doesn't, that's actually where she was born. Not German like she's here 10 generations back. I met my wife in Europe. I didn't meet her here. My wife first came here because of me. I actually brought a white German. You probably love this. I brought an extra.
You're German. +1. You're +1.
I brought a German, like the premium stock that your fans probably love. I brought one of those here, So, but this last question: if you were to make a prediction, this is 2025. Where are we in 2030 in America? How does that look like to you?
We're in a foxhole, and there's 900,000 Indians storming the Capitol, and it's me and 10 white guys left, and we got two cans of soup, and it's me, Barron Trump, and Nick Fuentes with fully autos facing the horde of Indians coming to take our country. That's probably where it's going to be.
All right, man. So. Hey, so we actually, we have a pretty, you know what, man, this is pretty interesting. What's up, Hassan Shibli? I honestly think, bro, because he goes hard, bro. He goes hard on the opposite of what you go hard.
Tell this guy to chill out. Yeah, I know this guy's freaking jihadi right here.
No, but listen, bro.
I don't care about dividing Muslims and Christians. Everyone's like the Jews trying to divide Muslims and Christians, and then the Muslims are trying to No, it's America first, America only, Christian first, Christian only, white America first, everything. We don't want. Listen, at this point, the national identity is we're willing to even say do Israel and the Jews and the Muslims, you guys got to go over there because we're worried about the bulk of what America is. Jews, you're 2% of the country. Muslims, you're 1%. We please shut the fuck up while dad deals with that's what we're it's two little kids in our country.
I want
Jews and Muslims. Jake, and we're guys, shut the fuck up for a minute. because dad's got to deal with the horde of Indians and Pakistanis and black ghettos and South Americans that are here. So, like, respectfully, you know, we've got to deal with our country, man. This
Jake, I
is
got
our
an idea.
country.
Jake, I got an idea. I think you might like. All right, and you and I were talking that you know, I'm in Miami. You're not too far, and Hassan, you're not Hassan. If you're still here, you're not too far. So here's what I suggest. All right, Hassan, if you can make it out here to Miami next week, and Jake, you come out here to Miami next week, and I'll invite both you guys to the studio.
Now, is he gonna mind if I have some ICE agents with me? Because I'm gonna need to see paperwork. This guy's got to go.
No, I'll have security too. And
I don't care. No, I don't need security. I need
brings a
ICE. This guy's
firearm.
got to go.
No one
He's
brings a
got to
firearm.
go.
But hold on, Jake. Let me say one more thing here. And I think I could do a fair debate between you and Hassan. I'll explain why. Because I have an Iranian father.
He said LMAO. Bring the ICE agents.
But hold on, Jake. I had an Iranian father from a Iranian Muslim family, Shia Muslim, and I have a Jewish mom. And you know, so I think I have, you know, I think I could do an impartial hosting, and I don't think I've ever even done this, you know, but in a studio. But I would actually like to do so Hassan, I invite you, and Jake, I invite you next week. This is spontaneous. If you guys are both interested, we could talk about it in DM, and I invite you both as a guest, and I'll back out, and you two could just, you know, do what you guys do, you know.
Tell them to stop deporting the baddies. Exactly, Hassan. I like you a little more. And I accept as well if I can make it. I travel around a lot. But yes, the 9s are fine. You know? 8s, we can debate, but 9s are fine.
Yo, we can
10s,
even
let them in.
Maybe I take a room at the Soho House, man. We sell like, I can bring like 100 people, you know, we do a VIP. I could take a room at the Soho House, not too far from here. And we could do something VIP, have Soho House security.
Dude, I'm way too high profile to be announcing where the hell we're going to be meeting up, bro.
Well, they can't even get in.
These Muslims are insane.
No,
and
bro,
I don't trust Hassan. Hassan, wherever he tells you we're meeting up, that's not where we're meeting up. I'm going to change the meeting date, the meeting place last minute because I can't trust you or your ilk at all. You guys have a freaking, whatever they call it.
You're not even a Muslim, bro.
No, you I can. I can trust you. The Muzzies though, they got a bounty on me. So
yeah, no, but
100%.
Even the Jews call me a fake Jew. They call me a Saudi Muslim. They call me Iranian agent. You know, no one trusts me, bro. I'm a homeless.
I'll leave my AK at home.
I'm a homeless.
Don't bring it. No child brides at the meetup. Okay, no child brides at the metup. 18 and over for the meetup. 18 and over.
All right, Jake. So where could everyone? Oh, Hassan, this was a little fireworks to finish this, huh? Yo, so the guys, this is basically the #1 stream tonight on a Friday night. Thank you so much. Yo, Jake. Yeah, man. Thank you, everybody, man. This was amazing. Yo, Jake, how can everyone find you on X? And if you just do one more plug.
I just got my username. Just Jake Lang now. It's just at Jake Lang. Perfect. So it's cool. I was able to secure that on X. So just follow me over there and make sure you subscribe to Nima here and myself. Like, hit the bell notification so that when we post, you can see it, because, you know, we can have 150,000 followers. We post something, only 10,000 people see it. So got to keep your bell notification on to be able to see what we're actually posting. And go to, if you want to donate to fund the next march on Epic City, in the Muslim-only city in Texas, go to givesendgo.com/Dearborn March. givesendgo.com/Dearborn March. And all those proceeds are going to go security and all the other expenses. We got some pretty wild things. I'm going to put 2 words together, and you guys do the math. We have a helicopter and we have some pot-bellied pigs coming to the next event in Texas. So you guys do the math on that one, all right? You're going to come see pigs fly.
Jake, also for the people that we have that may have joined later, could you please just do your like tour schedule again, just so everyone could?
Yeah. So the next march, the American Crusaders March that we're doing, is December 13th, 1 p.m. Central in Plano, Texas, at the Epic City Mosque. Just type in Epic City Mosque or Epic Center Mosque, Plano, Texas. It is the famous Muslim-only huge development they're building there. and the Texans are furious about it. There's mosques popping up literally all over in Texas, complete Islamification. We're going to have some very special guests. Tommy Robinson told me he wants to come. He's going to come if he can get his visa on December 4th. And Valentina Gomez saying she wants to come. She has security issues, so we're working those things out. But we may have all the biggest voices against the Islamification of America there, plus many others. Nick Shirley, every of the top journalists and all the top Ford Fisher and TP USA, Turning Point USA is going to be sending their people in to record the march too. So it's going to be very, very substantial. December 13th. Then the next one, the March on AIPAC. Nobody's ever done it. We're doing it. We're going to set up a press conference outside the Washington, D.C. headquarters of AIPAC. I'll be announcing more on the exact location of that. That's January 4th, 2026. Then if you want to stay in D.C., we will be, the Jan Sixers are having a reuniting event, and we're going to march on the Capitol again. Pray for me. I don't go inside this time. We're going back on January 6th, 2026. We are going back to the Capitol, the J6ers, to do a memorial march for Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylan, Kevin Greason, and Benjamin Phillip, who all lost their lives. Senseless police brutality, senseless murder by the hands of the Capitol Police. Nobody's ever faced any kind of repercussions for it. January 6th, we're in D.C. again. Then January 17th, we're going to Minneapolis. We are going to Little Somalia, the American Crusade, January 17th, Saturday in, I want to say Somalia, in Minneapolis. So at City Hall, we'll be meeting at City Hall. So all those details are on my X page. Nima, thank you, brother, for having me on. God bless you. Hashem bless you and your family. May the Lord Jesus Christ reveal himself to you, my brother, and
Shabbat
to everybody
shalom,
out
bro.
there.
Shabbat shalom, bro.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom. God bless.
Okay, man. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you.